Welcome to Innergetics with Kim and Veronica, where we invite you to nourish the energy of your inner why, your inner healing, magic, prosperity, your curiosity, clarity, playfulness. Welcome home. Hello, welcome to Innergetics. Welcome to the Innergetics podcast. I am Veronica, and this is my beautiful, lovely partner, Kim. Hello, Kim.
Hello, Veronica. Hello, beautiful people out there.
Hello, beautiful souls. Thank you for participating. Your listening, your watching is a contribution to whatever comes forth. So thank you. And Kim, where can folks find you?
You can find me on growingbeyond.com. You can find me on Facebook, Kim Coleman. And you can also find me on Instagram, kimcoleman.growingbeyond. What about you? What about you, woman?
And I am on Instagram at the Veronica Rose. That's ROZE.
There it is. There it is.
So what are we talking about today, my friend?
Well, you know what? I love the speaking about choice. Oh my God. And this could go on forever. However, I'll keep an eye on the time because Miss Veronica's gonna have a little trip and get a pack. And so, all the things. Are you okay with me saying that? Okay, cool. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Okay. So yeah, the choice thing. So there's so much confusion around choice and what it is and how to make a choice and making the wrong choice and what to choose, what not to choose. And so what I've noticed about choice, and I'm also speaking from myself here, like when I was doing this as well, a lot of people will not make a choice at all because they're so afraid to make the wrong choice. So they stay in a choiceless universe. They don't make a choice because they're so afraid to make the wrong choice. And so they don't make one. Or they'll do the weighing the pros and cons and all the things. And for me, it's like making a choice and being okay with the outcome. Doesn't mean I've made a wrong choice. Maybe it'll work out the way I'm hoping, and maybe it won't. So can I be strong enough to be okay with both, but not staying stuck in not making a choice? So making a choice, right? Making a choice, knowing, you know what, it might work out, and if it doesn't, I'll be okay. Boom. What about you? What you got on
Yeah,
that?
I love it. One of the things that I've been personally living my life by as it relates to choice is that regardless of the choice that I make, I will still end up where I meant to end up. I will still experience what I meant to experience, right? So it's this whole, like, it goes back to this whole dance with life, right? Life is presenting to me what I am meant to receive in the moment based on what my desires are, what is available for healing or integration or whatnot. And so, it's not that I don't think about the choice and I become, blasé about it. Like, sometimes if it's a big choice, I'll have to really spend a lot of time thinking about it. But at the end of the day, I really trust that it's like a GPS when you take a wrong turn and it just kind of redirects you, right? That's kind of how I've been playing with choice in my life for quite a long time now. Is like I really believe that there is no wrong choice. And it either it will take me to my heart's desires, or it will take me somewhere that will, be an experience I didn't think that I would experience, but it will give me wisdom.
Hello. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, sister.
But it will give me. It will either, it'll either be a beautiful experience of what my heart has been desiring, or it'll give me the wisdom that will, catapult me on the way to what my heart desires. So either way, it is there is no mistake. There is no wrong choice. There is no right. And so I think for me, that's freed up things a lot to, the pressure of having to make the right choice. Because, if you believe that life is happening for you, which we talk a lot about, then there really can't be a wrong choice. So there's lots of tools and processes that you can utilize to feel into what is better for you in the moment. But at the end of the day, just having that knowing that there is no wrong choice and everything will lead you on the path that is best suited for you is really takes a lot of pressure off of you.
Yeah. And sometimes that path that is our destiny that perhaps we chose before we got here, who knows? Uh, sometimes it doesn't look like we thought it would, right? And however, no matter which choice we make, it's always going to be an experience, right? It's always an experience. And as you said, if life is happening for me, I can look at that experience and maybe go, okay, cool. Well, I won't make that choice again. Sometimes it's that, right? That didn't go the way that I wanted. And so, okay, so now I know not to make that kind of choice again. And at the same time, I don't do it out of fear. Oh, last time I said yes to that, the poop hit the fan. Yeah, but what's actually true for me now? I'm not where I was last time. Right? So to use a so-called choice that didn't go the way that we wanted as a reference point, meaning I won't do that because of what happened last time. Again, we're not who we were the first time we made that choice. So now we go in perhaps with more experience, perhaps with more wisdom. So it doesn't mean, when I was 2, I didn't like asparagus, so I've never eaten it again, right? And so, as I continue to grow and expand, now I love asparagus. That's Don't know where that analogy came from, but it did.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so, that I think a lot of people also do that too. No, last time, okay, right? And that
Yeah.
is a
Yeah.
choice. That's a choice too. And at the same time, when we can go, oh yeah, wait a minute, right? I'm making that choice based on what happened in the past, and I can say, yeah, that's how that works for me. Or I can say, you know what, I'm really getting a yes to do this again. Last time it was la la la. I'm different this time. Now what? How can I
Yeah.
refine it, right? For me, life is also about refinements. I love that word. I don't know why. It's a sexy word to me. Refinements, right? It is. It's just a very sensual, very sexy, creative word. Refinements. It's like, now what? Now what? Now what?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. And we talk a lot about the compound effect. And so the worst thing I think we can do is when we make a choice, then to create a story about the wrongness of our choice. Right. So even if it doesn't turn out the way we were hoping, it's that narrative. It comes back to that narrative, that story that now is locking you in on a trajectory that's not required, that is taking you down a path that you don't want to go down ultimately. So
Right.
there's what happened. You're not happy about the outcome. Fine. So, what Kim and I always say is, okay, now what? To your point, the refinement. Okay, now what? Instead of, oh my God, I made the wrong choice. I can't trust myself. I can't, right? So beating ourselves up over it. And then now we're compounding it. We're locking in this, the trajectory of the energetic trajectory that's taking us down this story, this path of, I made the wrong choice. Now I'm going to be punished. Now I'm going to have to experience the effects of that. That's just the worst thing we could do.
Yeah, and you know what? I think the person who punishes us the most is ourselves. However, there's also so many of those things out there, right? You made your bed, now lie in it, right? It's kind of like that thing. So no wonder so many people have issues or whatever you want to call that, have uh, things around making choices because hey, you don't want to make the wrong choice because you made your bed, now lie in it, and hello, till death do us part. No, I don't think so. I do not think so, right? And so for me it's about, okay, that didn't work out the way I wanted it or that I had hoped it could. Now what? and also having my feels about it, right? But more also playing in the now what, meaning refinements, and make another choice. We don't have to be
Mm-hmm.
married to our choice that we made in the moment. Right. And for me, and I love how you said, like, you'll really think about your choices. Yeah, same. Like for me, it's easy for me to, it used to be easy. I'm more refining self around that. It used to be easy for me to react and do a yes or a no. What I've learned to do is pause. So now I pause. I don't have to make this choice today. I don't have to make this choice in this 10 seconds. Now, listen, sometimes you do, right? There's always those moments that you do, but those are often moments that you don't have time to think about it. Boom, you do the choice. Right. But
Yeah.
and so for me, it's like, yeah, there are moments when I'm like, okay, if I don't run across the street right now, I'm going to get hit. You don't stop and think about that. Well, maybe you do. Right. It's like, hey, I'm going to run. You don't stop and think, or you'll stop and wait till the cars go by, whatever it is. And so I think for me, the biggest thing for me was recognizing that, when I'm making a choice, am I strong enough to be with whatever the outcome is? Maybe it'll work out for me. Maybe it won't work out for me the way I wanted. And can I be okay with either? Right? Can I be okay
Yeah.
with either? And getting to that place of, yeah, I can be okay with either, because if it doesn't go the way I wanted it to, I'm going to have my feels about it. I can look at it again. I can do the refinements, and I get to play. I get to play in the energetics and the energetics of it all. So, yeah, choice is such a fun, 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 fun.
Fun and can be heavy. Yes. I think so. I have a story I can share around it. So I chose motherhood late in life, late like in my early 40s, had my daughter, and then wanted a second one, and did all kinds of fertility treatments that didn't work out. And so then I was faced with a choice: do I proceed down the path of getting an egg donor, or do I adopt? And this was probably 5 years ago now, that I had to, I didn't have to, but that was the decision in front of me, right? Because I really felt the strong desire for a second one. And in that moment, the financial, cost was the same, and the level of effort was the same. And so I thought I'd like to carry another child. And so I went down the path of the egg donor, and, you know, got some really great embryos and blah, 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 but it never ever worked for me. They never stuck. And so now I'm at a place where I'm like, it's very hard for me to adopt now, because our daughter's aged and we're aged and whatnot. So the options for us for adoption are very, very, very limited. And so it's interesting because I still have the desire for a second child, and it would be easy for me to beat myself up over that choice that I made 5 years ago. Like, oh, why didn't I choose adoption? Maybe I'd have a baby by now, right? But I don't live in that regret. I made the decision that felt right in the moment, and maybe there's other factors from a soul level that are playing out, for which it's not in my destiny right now. So I just continually live in the, okay, now what, right? And there are a few options in front of me, and maybe it won't happen, but it's kind of like surrendering to my journey. And what I wouldn't want would be to be 90 years old and looking back at my life, and seeing that I spent the next 10 years sulking over a decision that I made, rather than living my life to the fullest. So, how do I go all in on the life that I do have, on the daughter that I do have, on the work, the family, the podcast that I do have? How do I go all in on what's in front of me, instead of spending my time sulking over a decision that maybe could have turned out differently?
And I love that you brought surrender in there, right? So again, when the choice doesn't show up the way that we wanted it to, surrender to what it is. That was good. I love that you pulled that in there, Missy Veronica Rosetti. I love that.
Rosetti.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, because that's exactly it, right? And it is a practice. Life is a practice. Dear God, right? If you got a manual, you better share it with me.
It's true. It's so true.
Yeah,
And you know, and how many of us walk around through life just feeling like we have no choice?
I know.
Like life is happening to us. I have no choice in what's happening, right? And that's a whole level. That's a whole other level of the discussion of choice, because I think a lot of times people feel that or feel that for periods of time. Like things are just happening, and I don't feel like I chose it, and I don't feel like I'm continuing to choose it, but here it is. Um, and yet we do have choice,
We
right? We have
do
choice in how we
have choice.
respond.
Yeah, and listen, that choice thing is also, we judge ourselves for choices, right? That like you could have judged yourself, like you said, been 90 years old and having regrets, right? And so thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you so much for sharing it. That's huge, right? That's huge. And so just pausing with that for a moment and recognizing, yeah, that's huge. And you have surrendered to what it is instead of staying in regrets of what you wanted it to be, right? And it doesn't mean that you don't still desire it, as you said, right? And but did you make a
Yeah.
wrong choice? Yeah, I don't think so, right?
Who
It
knows, right? Do we really know?
Well, how could we possibly know, right? And so the thing
Yeah.
is surrendering to it, because it's so easy to judge others for their choices and to judge ourselves. I often, when I'm teaching classes and different things and I'm speaking about choice, because choice is something, listen, I love speaking and sharing about choice. Uh, I can love the junkie down the street. And this is just an example I love to play with. I can love the junkie down the street. I don't know what he came here or she came here to experience. How could I? I'm not them, right? So, how can I judge them for their choices? It's not a choice I would make for me and my body, right? It's not a choice I would make for me and my body. However, I don't know what they came here to experience, so how can I judge them for their choices? I
Mm-hmm.
can't. I can't, right? Can I be an allowance of the junkie down the street? Yeah. Does it mean I need to invite them home? That's a choice, right? Will it contribute to me to have, somebody like that living in my basement? Trust me, I've had somebody like that living in my basement. It
I'm
didn't
sure
work
you
out.
have.
It did not work out all that good. Loved him to pieces, but anyway, yeah, right? And so it is that. It's about when we can see what other people are doing, we can go, "Oh my god, why is he doing that?" And we can judge them. And at the same time, if we can just simply look and go, can I be an allowance of them being like that? Yes, no, yes, no. Oh, I'm getting a yes. Okay, they're making choices. I don't know why. I don't know what their soul came. How could I? They probably don't even know. I barely know why myself enough for that kind of thing to figure someone else out, right? And so, can I be an allowance of them being who they're being? Listen, people
Mm-hmm.
people want other people to be an allowance of who they are. Cool. Can you be an allowance of who other people are? Right? And it might be choices that you wouldn't make. Cool. Right? We don't get to judge someone else because of the choices that they're choosing. Whether they're aware that they're choosing it, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Who they're being is who they're being. And for me to judge them for who they're being and then show up in the world not wanting to be judged myself for me being me, come on, right? And so yeah, like I said, I can love the junkie down the street, doesn't mean I need to bring them home. That's a choice. That's not judgment, right? I'm not judging the junkie for being a junkie, right? I'm aware that that's who they are. They're showing me that's who they are, right? Can I still love them? Yeah. Is it a choice I would make for me and my body? No. Do I need to bring them home? Well, not today. Maybe tomorrow. We'll see. right? And so yeah, when we
Yeah,
can be choice of others as well as ourselves, we also create a different energy for others to make other choices. But if I'm compounding somebody because of the choice they made, I'm now also helping to lock it in for them. But when I can be an allowance of who they are in that moment and who they're showing up and love them anyway, doesn't mean I need to hang out with them, but I can love them anyway. Wow, that creates a whole different energy for them as well as for me, right?
absolutely. I love that distinction of, the judgment versus the choice, right?
Mm-hmm.
So really, that doesn't mean you have to agree with anything, but you have allowance for who they are, compassion, love, understanding that there's a bigger picture at play than what our eyes and what our mind can see. And then how do I choose to respond to this? And what, to your point, like what is correct for me in the moment? What is true for me in the moment? And that might change. That can change in any given, like you always say that, right? It's like what's true for me in the moment.
Yeah, what's true
And
for
that
me
might change
today?
in the next moment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? What's
Yeah.
true for me today can be different tomorrow. Otherwise, I'm keeping myself in a box.
Yeah.
Never liked the box. Awesome.
Yeah, I love it. And as we, you really contemplate that we are creators. We are creators. We are here creating life in whatever way that, that you choose to create it. That's you choose what you can create. You choose how you respond to what's presented to you. So everything really comes down to being a choice. Whether you choose to respond or you choose to be miserable about your choice or everything's a choice. So
Right.
why not choose the elevated road, right?
And I love
That
that
will actually lead to your empowerment.
you brought in the piece of, yeah, we are creators. But guess what? What are we creating if we're not making any choices at all because we're so afraid to make the wrong choice? What are we creating? Right? So I love that you brought that in because right as soon as you put the word creation and we're creators into this share that we're sharing here, I went, oh my God, for people who are so afraid to make a choice because they're so afraid to make a wrong choice, what are they creating? Yeah.
Yeah, and wouldn't you prefer to live a life that is your own creation instead of holding back in fear and not choosing what you truly desire?
Yeah. And like I said, make a choice knowing that it might work out the way you're hoping and it might not. You're going to be fine. You're going to be
Yeah.
fine either way, right? And
Exactly.
surrendering to what is, oh my God, surrendering to how it shows up and all of that. Oh my God, even more than what you thought you were choosing can show up for you, right? I think we talked a little bit about that on the last episode where it was like, yeah, you know what? Your trajectory might have been way too small, right? Your vision
Yeah.
may have been way too small and you were thinking way too small. And so it didn't turn out the way that you were hoping or thinking because the universe has your back and went, yeah, no to that. And yes, let's go over here, right? That's the now what. The now what
Hmm.
is surrendering to what is so that the energy and the now what can show up. What a fun conversation. I love this one.
It is fun. Me too.
Yay! Awesome.
So gooder. Well, thank you so much. Thank you, Kim. Thank you, everyone, for listening. We always would love if you comment, like, subscribe, share with your friends and family, anyone who you think could benefit from this conversation, and bring them into our family. We love it.
All right.
So much love.
Awesome.
Bye.
Ta ta for now.